cursed as a witch, until the alpha vampire said, "She's pure." Moonlight draped the cottages in silver, revealing the secrets the villagers tried so hard to hide. Among these whispers was the name of Leora, a girl unlike any other. Her skin was pale as snow, her hair like strands of moonlight, and her eyes shone with a strange clarity. The villagers called her cursed, calling her a witch, though none could say why. Leora had always known she was different. Even as a child, she felt a strange power within her, quiet and soft, like a song beneath the roar of the world. She did not understand it, and she tried not to. But when misfortune touched the village, when crops failed or animals fell sick, the whispers grew louder. Mothers would pull their children close when she walked by, and men would glare from doorways. It was not the first time Leora had been accused, but each time the fear in their eyes burned deeper into her heart. She had learned to move like a shadow, speaking only when spoken to, keeping her gaze lowered. Still, she could not hide the light in her hands when it flared by accident, or the strange warmth that touched those around her, even if they feared it. On this night, a red moon rose above Ravenmoor, casting everything in an eerie glow. Leora walked along the edge of the forest, where the trees bent low as if trying to touch the ground, their roots twisted like the fingers of some ancient creature. The villagers' voices had faded behind her, replaced by the whispers of the wind and the occasional cry of a night bird. She liked these moments when the world seemed hers alone, free from fear. But tonight, the air carried something different. A presence dark, powerful, yet mesmerizing. Leora froze, sensing eyes upon her. She turned, but there was nothing she could see. Then a shadow moved among the trees, swift and silent, as though it were a part of the night itself. Her heart beat fast, and instinct told her to run, yet her feet stayed planted. From the shadows emerged a figure, tall and commanding. He was unlike any man she had seen. His skin was pale, but not like hers, smooth, almost shining in the moonlight. His eyes were sharp and deep, a shade darker than the night, and his presence radiated authority. A black cloak flowed around him as if alive, blending with the shadows. "You are the one they call cursed," he said, his voice calm yet heavy, carrying over the wind. Leora's eyes widened and a shiver ran down her spine. She wanted to step back to flee, but some strange force held her in place. Who are you?" she whispered. "I am Kale," he replied, his gaze never leaving hers. "And you are not what they believe. They have misunderstood you, little one. They see fear where there is none, darkness where there is only light." Leora did not understand. "They say I am a witch, that I bring misfortune," she said, her voice trembling. She paused, unsure if she should say more. Something in his eyes, dark yet not cruel, made her continue. "I do not wish harm, I never have." Kale's lips curved into a faint smile. "Then you are indeed pure, far more than they deserve to witness." The words struck her like a bolt of lightning. Pure. She had never heard that before, never from anyone. Not from her mother, who died when Leora was small, not from the villagers who feared her, not from anyone. Her heart ached with longing and confusion. Before she could speak again, Kale took a step closer. The forest seemed to grow still around him, the shadows bending as if to shelter him. "You are in danger," he said. "There are those who would see your light extinguished. You must come with me if you wish to survive." Leora shook her head, fear and defiance mingling. "I cannot," she said firmly. "I will not be taken like a prisoner. Kale held up a hand, not in threat but in calm authority. "I do not wish to harm you, but the world you know will not accept you, and it may destroy you before I can protect you. Your power, your light, it has drawn attention, and not all who come will come with kindness." Her breath caught in her throat. She had never felt so small, yet so drawn. Something about him, the weight of his presence, the certainty in his words, made her heart pound in ways she did not understand. "You are unlike anyone I have ever met," Kale said softly. "And I do not say that lightly. Your purity, it is rare in a world so dark." Leora looked down, her hands trembling. Purity. I have been called cursed my whole life. How can you say that? Kale bent slightly, lowering himself so his face was level with hers. Because I see what you hide, Leora. The world fears what it cannot control, but I see your truth. And that truth is beautiful. Dangerous, yes, but beautiful. For a moment, silence fell. The only sound was the rustle of leaves and the whisper of the wind. Leora felt a strange warmth in her chest, a spark of hope she had never allowed herself to feel. She wanted to trust him, though every instinct told her to run. Come with me, Kale said again, his eyes searching hers. I will teach you. I will protect you. But you must leave this village tonight. Stay here, and the darkness they whisper of may find you before dawn. Leora hesitated. Her mind raced. To leave meant stepping into the unknown, trusting a stranger whose power could crush her with ease. But to staying meant fear, isolation, and perhaps death. She took a deep breath, feeling the pulse of her own magic stir beneath her skin. I will come, she said finally, her voice soft but steady. If you truly mean to protect me, then I will trust you. Kale's lips lifted in a faint smile and he extended his hand. Good. Then do not look back. Your life changes tonight, Leora. As she placed her hand in his, a surge of energy passed between them, gentle but undeniable. The forest seemed to shiver around them, as if recognizing her power and the presence of the creature beside her. She felt fear, yes, but also a strange sense of belonging, as though for the first time, someone saw her for what she truly was. They moved through the forest in silence, Kale leading, his steps swift and sure. Leora's mind was a whirlwind of questions, but she did not dare speak them. There was a pull in the air, a magnetic force that kept her close to him, and she could not resist it even if she wanted to. After some time, they reached a clearing. Kale stopped, looking at her with intensity. Soon, you will meet others like me, he said. Not all will welcome you. Not all will understand your light, but remember, you are not what they fear. You are what they cannot contain. Leora's heart thumped painfully in her chest. She wanted to ask what he meant, but before she could, a distant howl split the night. The trees trembled as if responding to the sound. Kale's eyes narrowed. They are coming, he said quietly, a dangerous edge in his voice. The ones who do not wish you to live, we must move faster. Leora's pulse quickened, and for the first time fear mingled with exhilaration. Her life had been small, controlled by whispers and suspicion. But now, under the blood-red moon, walking beside a being of immense power, she felt alive. As they vanished into the shadows of the forest, Leora looked up at Kale. Who are you really? She asked softly. Kale's lips curved into a shadow of a smile. I am the one who will teach you what the world cannot. I am the one who will show you your true strength. And perhaps, he paused, letting the words hang like a promise in the night. Perhaps I am also the one who will stand beside you when the darkness comes. The wind whispered around them, carrying the scent of earth and night flowers. Leora shivered, not from cold, but from the weight of what lay ahead. She did not yet understand the full scope of her power, the dangers that hunted her, or the depths of the bond forming between her and the alpha vampire. All she knew was that her life had changed forever, and for the first time, she felt the faintest glimmer of hope. High above, the red moon burned in the sky, its light bathing the forest in silver and crimson. And in the shadows, unseen eyes watched them, curious, hungry, and waiting. Leora did not know it yet, but her journey into darkness, magic, and unexpected love had only just begun. The forest had changed. Under the silver glow of the red moon, shadows stretched longer, twisting into forms that seemed almost alive. Leora's hand remained in Kale's, her grip firm despite the chill creeping along her skin. She felt a strange combination of fear and exhilaration, fear of the unknown, exhilaration of a life no longer bound by whispers and suspicion. Kale moved with the grace of a predator, silent yet powerful. Each step seemed certain, confident, as though the forest itself bent to his will. Leora struggled to match his pace. Her legs were weaker than his, but he slowed when she faltered, offering a hand or a reassuring glance. "Why are they after me?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly, carrying over the rustling leaves. Kale's eyes, dark and unreadable, fixed on the path ahead. "Because your light is rare. There are those who fear it, those who wish to snuff it out, some out of envy, some out of ancient grudges. You carry something they cannot understand." Leora looked down at her hands, pale and fragile in the moonlight. "My light, it's just a small thing. I do not feel powerful." Kale stopped and turned to her. "Do not underestimate it. Even the smallest flame can burn through the deepest darkness. You have more strength than you know, Leora. And it is that strength which makes you dangerous and precious." She wanted to ask what he meant, but before the words could form, the wind shifted. A low, eerie growl echoed through the trees, vibrating against her bones. Leora froze, her breath catching. "They are close," Kale said quietly, his eyes scanning the shadows. "Get ready to move fast. Trust me and do not let fear control you." Before she could answer, shapes emerged from the mist, dark figures, swift and silent, moving like shadows that had grown teeth. Their eyes glowed faintly red and their faces were hidden beneath hoods that seemed stitched from the night itself. Leora's pulse quickened. What are they?" she whispered, clutching Kale's arm. "Hunters," Kale said grimly. "Creatures who exist only to destroy those who shine too brightly. Stay close to me. You must not be touched." The first of them leaped from the mist, moving faster than humanly possible. Kale reacted instantly, shifting like a shadow himself. In a blur, he intercepted the attacker, his hand striking with precision that left no room for error. The creature fell back, snarling, but did not retreat. "Run!" Kale commanded, and together they dashed deeper into the forest. Leora struggled to keep up, but Kale slowed whenever she lagged. She could feel the creatures closing in, their whispers like cold fingers brushing against her mind. As they ran, Kale spoke in a low, urgent voice. "You must concentrate. Your magic, you can use it. Trust yourself. You are stronger than they are." Leora's heart raced, and a strange warmth began to rise in her chest. She had felt it before, a quiet glow that pulsed when she was frightened or upset. Now, with danger pressing from all sides, it surged outward, brushing against the trees and the mist. A faint light shimmered around her, gentle but visible in the darkness. The hunters recoiled, hissing and retreating slightly. Leora's eyes widened. I did that." Kale's gaze softened just a little, though his body remained tense. "Yes, that is your light. Do not be afraid of it. Let it guide you." They ran until the forest opened into a clearing, a circle of ancient stones half buried in moss. Kale stopped and turned to face her, his expression serious. "Here we can hold them off for a moment, but they will not give up easily. You must focus." Leora nodded, though fear still twisted her stomach. She could feel the energy in her hands, a pulsing warmth that responded to her heartbeat. She had never tried to control it consciously, but now, with Kale's guidance, she attempted it. Slowly, the light expanded, forming a protective aura around them. The hunters approached again, but each step they took seemed slower, as though the light repelled them. Kale moved beside her, his presence steadying. "Good, keep it steady. Breathe. Let it flow naturally." For a moment, Leora felt a strange sense of exhilaration. Her fear did not disappear, but it no longer controlled her. She was creating something real, something powerful. And beside her, Kale watched, patient and unwavering, as though her success mattered as much to him as it did to her. The hunters hissed and retreated into the shadows, their glowing eyes vanishing like fireflies into the night. Leora's chest heaved, exhaustion and relief mixing in a dizzying wave. She looked at Kale, unsure whether to speak or simply stay silent. "You did well," he said softly, his voice carrying over the clearing. "Your magic is strong, but this is only the beginning. You will need to learn to control it fully, or the darkness will find you again." I think I understand a little now," Leora said, her voice small but confident. It feels like it comes from me, but also like it is meant to protect. Kale's eyes softened, a rare warmth touching his otherwise unreadable features. Exactly. It is your gift and your responsibility. Do not let fear make you doubt it. You are capable of more than you imagine. For the first time, Leora felt a glimmer of pride. She was no longer just the cursed girl the villagers whispered about. She was something else, a being of light with power that could change the world. And beside her stood someone who believed in her, who saw her for what she truly was. But even as she felt this new strength, a flicker of doubt crept in. Could she truly trust Kale? He was unlike any human she had ever known, powerful and dangerous. And yet, there was a gentleness to him, a patience that made her heart stir. She pushed the thought aside, focusing instead on the clearing and the aura she had created. "You need rest," Kale said suddenly, breaking into her thoughts. "We cannot continue like this, running blindly. There is a safe place nearby. I will take you there, but you must trust me completely." Leora nodded, her exhaustion making the decision easier. She trusted him, though she did not fully understand why. Together, they moved through a narrow path that twisted between gnarled trees, the forest growing darker and thicker around them. Every sound seemed amplified, the snap of a branch, the whisper of leaves, the distant call of an unseen creature. Yet with Kale beside her, she felt safer than she had in her entire life. After what felt like hours, they emerged from the forest into a secluded valley. A small stream ran through it, and the remains of an old stone tower rose against the night sky. It was crumbling, abandoned long ago, yet it radiated a quiet strength. "This will be our shelter for now," Kale said, his voice low and calm. "They will not find us here easily." Leora followed him inside, stepping over the moss-covered stones. The air smelled of earth and rain, and for a moment she felt a strange peace. Here, surrounded by ruins and the quiet flow of the stream, she could almost forget the danger that pursued her. Almost. Kale seated himself on a stone bench, motioning for her to sit as well. "You must rest. Your magic requires focus, and you will need all your strength in the days to come." Leora obeyed, settling beside him, her hands still glowing faintly from the aura she had created. "Kale, why do you help me?" she asked quietly. "I do not understand why someone like you would care for someone like me." Kale's gaze met hers, intense and unwavering. "Because you are rare. Because your light shines where darkness has ruled for centuries. Because I see the truth in you, and it is something worth protecting. You are not just another human. You are extraordinary, Leora, and I do not intend to let anyone take that from you." Her heart beat faster, a mixture of fear and something else she did not yet name. The way he looked at her, the certainty in his voice, made her feel seen in a way no one ever had. Yet, a part of her hesitated. Could she trust someone so powerful, so different from herself? Before she could ask more, a sudden sound interrupted her thoughts, a rustling at the edge of the valley. Kale's eyes narrowed, his body shifting instinctively. "They have found us again," he said, voice calm but deadly. "Stay close to me. You must not panic." Leora's pulse raced, but she obeyed, stepping closer to him. She could feel the warmth of his presence, a steadying force against the fear gnawing at her chest. As the shadows moved closer, she felt her magic stir once more, ready to respond to her will. Kale's hand brushed hers almost imperceptibly, and a spark of reassurance passed between them. "Together," he said, almost like a vow. "No matter what comes, we face it together." And in that moment, Leora realized something. She was no longer alone. She had power, yes, but more than that. She had someone who believed in her, who would stand beside her even in the face of overwhelming darkness. The shadows approached, and Leora's light flared again, stronger this time, pulsing with determination. The hunters hissed and recoiled, but Kale was ready, his movements fluid and lethal. Side by side, they prepared for the fight, two beings bound by fate, light, and a promise neither fully understood. As the night deepened, the first real bond of trust formed between them. Leora felt the stirrings of something powerful, not just her magic, but a connection that went beyond fear or survival. She was no longer the cursed girl the villagers whispered about. She was something new, something strong, something dangerous. And Kale was no longer just a shadow of the night. He was a protector, a guide, and perhaps, she dared to hope, something more. The wind swept through the valley, carrying the scent of rain and earth and the distant cries of the hunters. Leora's heart beat fast, but this time it was not just fear. It was anticipation, curiosity, and a strange, undeniable hope. For the first time in her life, Leora felt that her story was just beginning. The valley was silent except for the soft rush of the stream and the faint rustle of leaves. Leora crouched behind a crumbling stone wall, her hands still glowing faintly with the light of her magic. Kale moved beside her like a shadow, his eyes scanning every inch of the darkness beyond the ruins. The hunters were out there, somewhere in the forest, waiting for the right moment to strike. "You are ready," Kale said quietly, not looking at her. "You know your power now, but you must trust it completely. Hesitation can be deadly." Leora nodded, though fear still clutched at her chest. She could feel the energy rising inside her, a warmth that pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. It was not just magic, it was a part of her, something raw, alive, and untamed. She could shape it, control it, or let it flow freely. She was learning, but the pressure of the hunters made every choice heavier. Kale crouched low and placed a hand lightly on her shoulder. "Focus, Leora, feel it. Do not fight it. Let it guide you." She took a deep breath and closed her eyes. The world around her faded, replaced by the pulse of her own power. It was a strange sensation, like standing inside a warm, radiant sphere. She felt her magic responding to her thoughts, stretching outward, brushing against the air like invisible wings. The light around her grew brighter, forming a shield that shimmered in the moonlight. The hunters stepped into the clearing, their movements cautious. They hissed as the aura of light touched them, retreating slightly. Leora opened her eyes, and for a moment she felt something unfamiliar, confidence. The fear was still there, but it no longer held her. She could see the shadows around them, the edges of their forms wavering as her light pressed against them. Kale's eyes flicked toward her, a rare hint of pride in his gaze. "Good, keep it steady. You are stronger than you think." Suddenly, one of the hunters broke forward, faster than the others, aiming straight for Leora. Her instinct took over. She raised her hands, and a burst of radiant energy shot outward, striking the hunter before it could reach her. The figure staggered, letting out a hiss of frustration before retreating. "You did that," Kale exclaimed, moving beside her. "That was perfect control." Leora's chest heaved, her breathing uneven. I did not mean to hurt it," she said softly, her eyes wide. "I only wanted to protect myself." Kale shook his head, a small smile on his lips. "You protected yourself. That is all that matters. Remember, your power is not evil. It is a reflection of who you are. Use it wisely and it will keep you alive." For a few moments they stood in silence, listening. The remaining hunters were cautious now, their hisses growing softer as they kept their distance. Leora felt a mixture of triumph and unease. Her light had grown, but the danger was not gone. She still felt the pressure of the unknown pressing in from every direction. Kale placed a hand on her back, guiding her toward a narrow path that led deeper into the forest. "We cannot stay here. They will return, and there may be more. Come with me." Leora followed, stepping carefully over roots and rocks. The forest seemed alive around them, the shadows shifting and bending as they moved. There was a strange beauty in the night, the way the moonlight fell on the leaves, the silver shimmer of the stream. But there was also a constant sense of danger. Every rustle, every whisper of wind made her heart race. "Kale," she began hesitantly, "why do they fear me? Why would anyone hate someone for having light?" Kale's step slowed and he glanced at her, his expression unreadable. "The world fears what it cannot understand. Light is rare in a place like this. Those who have lived in darkness for centuries, they see your power as a threat." And some simply cannot bear to see purity where they have none. Leora swallowed hard, her hands trembling slightly. Then I am dangerous, Kale shook his head. Not dangerous, powerful, and precious. Dangerous is what they will be if they touch you without understanding. You must learn to control your strength so that you are never in danger again. They continued walking, the forest gradually opening into a small glade. The moonlight fell on a pool of water in the center, its surface reflecting the red hue of the moon above. Kale motioned for her to sit by the edge. Rest here, he said. You have done well tonight, but your energy is still raw. Sleep, and we will continue at first light. Leora lowered herself to the ground, her eyes following the reflection of the moon on the water. She felt a strange calm, a momentary peace amidst the chaos. For the first time in her life, she felt like she belonged somewhere, not just tolerated but truly seen. Kale knelt beside her, his gaze scanning the surrounding trees. Even here we are not completely safe, he said softly. But this place will give you time to recover, to focus on your magic without immediate threat. Leora turned to him, her voice barely a whisper. Kale, why do you care? You do not owe me anything. Kale's eyes softened, though the intensity never left them. Perhaps I do not owe you, but I choose to care. You are unlike anyone I have ever met. Your light, it is rare and it is beautiful, and because of that I will not let anyone take it from you. Her heart beat faster, a mix of fear, awe, and something else she could not name. For centuries she had been alone, feared, and misunderstood. But beside Kale, she felt protected, seen, and important. The night deepened, and Leora's exhaustion finally overcame her. She rested her head on her arms, the soft glow of her magic fading slightly as sleep began to take her. Kale watched her for a long moment, silent and watchful, his presence like a shield against the unseen dangers of the forest. Hours passed in quiet stillness. The moon shifted across the sky, casting silver and crimson light over the glade. Leora stirred, blinking awake, her senses immediately alert. The forest around her was alive with subtle movement, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of a night bird. Kale, she whispered, sitting up. He was standing nearby, his eyes scanning the shadows. They are coming, he said quietly. A new threat approaches. You must be ready. Leora rose to her feet, her hands glowing faintly with the light of her magic. Fear fluttered in her chest, but it no longer paralyzed her. She could feel the energy coursing through her, responding to her will. The shadows moved first, shapes darker and faster than before. The new hunters were stronger, more determined. Their eyes glowed with hunger, and their whispers cut through the night like knives. Kale stepped forward, placing himself between Leora and the approaching danger. Stay behind me. Trust your instincts and trust your magic. The first figure lunged, and Leora acted instinctively. A wave of light burst from her hands, striking the hunter before it could reach her. The energy expanded outward, creating a shield that pushed the others back. Kale moved like a shadow beside her, his strikes precise and deadly, intercepting any who dared approach. Leora's confidence grew with each movement. She could feel the magic responding to her thoughts, expanding and contracting with her heartbeat. The hunters hissed and retreated, their glowing eyes wary of the power that radiated from her. You are doing well, Kale said, his voice calm amidst the chaos. Do not fear it, embrace it. Your light is stronger than they are. Leora took a deep breath, focusing on the energy within her. She felt it flow through her arms, through her legs, and into the ground beneath her feet. With a thought, she extended it outward, creating a protective barrier that shimmered in the moonlight. The hunters recoiled, their forms flickering as the light pressed against them. For the first time, Leora felt a surge of triumph. She was no longer just the cursed girl of Ravenmoor. She was something more, strong, capable, and radiant. And beside her, Kale's presence was steady, guiding, and unwavering. The hunters finally retreated into the shadows, their hisses fading into the distance. Leora's chest heaved with exhaustion, but her heart was alight with a newfound strength. She looked at Kale, her voice trembling with a mix of relief and awe. I did it, she whispered. Kale's lips curved into a faint smile, a rare softness touching his features. Yes, and you will do it again, and again. You are stronger than you realize, Leora. And this is only the beginning. Leora nodded, her hands still glowing faintly with residual energy. For the first time in her life, she felt a sense of purpose. She was not just surviving. She was learning to control her power to protect herself and perhaps to change the world around her. Kale's gaze met hers, intense and unwavering. Rest now. Tomorrow we continue. You have much to learn and the darkness will not wait. But remember this, no matter what comes, you are not alone. You have me and you have your light. As Leora settled back onto the stone, exhaustion finally claiming her again, she felt a strange warmth in her chest. It was not just the magic, it was the connection she felt with Kale, a bond forged in the fires of danger and trust. She did not fully understand it yet, but she knew one thing, her life had changed forever. The moon shone brightly above, casting silver light over the glade. The forest was alive with whispers, shadows, and unseen eyes, but for now Leora was safe. For now she had found a place where she could begin to understand her power, and perhaps begin to understand her heart. The first light of dawn had not yet touched the forest, but the valley shimmered under the lingering glow of the red moon. Leora stood at the edge of the clearing, her hands trembling slightly, her pale hair brushing her shoulders like silver threads in the night. She could feel the pulse of her magic thrumming in her veins, stronger than ever before. Kale stood beside her, his dark eyes fixed on the ruins across the valley. The ancient tower, half broken and overgrown with moss, seemed to hum with old power. Leora could sense it too, a lingering curse, centuries old and more dangerous than anything she had faced. "This is it," Kale said, his voice low and steady. "The heart of your curse lies within those stones. Tonight we end it. Are you ready?" Leora swallowed hard. She had faced hunters, shadows, and the fear of her own power, but this felt different. The air itself seemed alive with old anger and sorrow. I think I am," she whispered. "But what if I fail?" Kale reached out, placing a steadying hand on her shoulder. "You will not fail, not if you trust yourself and your light. You are stronger than the darkness that seeks to control you." For a long moment they stood together in silence, feeling the energy of the cursed ruins pressing against them. Then Kale turned, his eyes softer now, almost vulnerable. "You are not alone in this, Leora. Remember that. Whatever happens, I am with you." Leora nodded, her heart beating faster. His words were like a shield against the fear gnawing at her chest. She could feel the bond between them, unspoken, yet powerful. Trust, courage, and something deeper she did not yet understand. Together, they stepped into the ruins. The air was thick with magic, old and bitter. Shadows curled along the walls like living things, and faint whispers seemed to echo from the stones themselves. Leora felt her pulse quicken. This was the source of her curse, the lingering envy and malice of a sorceress long dead, a spell meant to punish purity. Kale motioned for her to stand in the center of the ruined circle. "You must call your light fully. Let it fill every part of you. The curse will fight you, try to pull you under, but do not resist too much. Flow with it. Control it, yes, but also trust it." Leora took a deep breath. The air smelled of damp stone and something older, something alive. She closed her eyes, feeling the warmth of her magic rise from her chest, spreading through her arms and legs, through the tips of her fingers and toes. The glow grew brighter, surrounding her like a sphere of soft silver light. The shadows in the ruins reacted immediately, hissing and retreating slightly, but they did not disappear. They coiled and twisted, moving with intent, like serpents ready to strike. Leora opened her eyes, focusing on her magic. She could feel the light responding, reaching outward, brushing against the shadows, pushing them back. Kale stepped beside her, his presence steady, his hand lightly resting near hers. "Good," he said. "Do not let them scare you. You are the master of your power. They exist only because they are afraid of your light. The whispers grew louder, echoing inside the ruins. Leora's heart thumped in rhythm with the pulse of her magic. The curse was strong, ancient, and cunning, but so was she. She concentrated, letting her fear transform into determination. With a thought, the light expanded, pushing outward like a tide, illuminating the cracks and crevices of the ruined tower. The shadows writhed, screeching and hissing, but Leora did not flinch. She felt the surge of power inside her, the pure strength that Kale had told her about. And then, she felt something unexpected, a connection to the very curse itself, as though the magic of the sorceress had been woven into the stones, reacting to her presence. "You can feel it, can't you?" Kale asked softly. "It's testing you, but you are stronger. Do not let it overwhelm you. Channel it." Leora nodded. Her hands glowed brighter, the light now pure and unwavering. She reached out with her mind as much as her magic, touching the remnants of the curse in the stones. There was anger, envy, and sorrow, all tangled together. But underneath it all, she sensed something else: fear. Fear of purity, fear of change, fear of being powerless. "I am not afraid of you," she whispered. "I will not let you control me." The shadows surged forward, striking at her, but Kale was faster. He moved with fluid grace, intercepting them, his presence anchoring her. "Keep going," he urged. "You can do this. I will not let you fall." Leora focused, drawing her magic inward and then outward, letting it flow like a river. The light surged, brighter than ever, filling the ruins, washing over the shadows. The whispers became screams, then silent cries, then nothing. The stones themselves seemed to tremble, the ancient curse breaking apart under the purity of her power. And then, silence. The ruins glowed faintly, but the darkness was gone. Leora collapsed to her knees, exhausted, her hands still glowing softly. Kale knelt beside her, his hand steady on her shoulder. "You did it," he said quietly. "You broke the curse." Leora looked around, disbelief and relief mixing in her eyes. I really did it," she whispered. "It's gone," Kale smiled, a rare softness in his expression. "It is gone. The world will no longer fear your light. You are free, Leora." Tears welled in her eyes, but they were not of fear. They were tears of release, of relief, and of something she had never allowed herself to feel: hope. She had survived, she had grown stronger, and she had faced the darkness without losing herself. Kale watched her, and for a moment the distance between them disappeared. He leaned closer, his dark eyes meeting hers. "You have grown beyond anything I could have imagined," he said softly. "Stronger, braver, and even more beautiful than before. Not because of your appearance, but because of your heart." Leora's breath caught. His words stirred something inside her, a warmth she had never felt before. For centuries she had been alone, feared, misunderstood. But here, in the quiet aftermath of danger, she felt seen, understood, and cherished. "Kale," she whispered, unsure what to say. He took her hand gently, holding it with a firmness that was both protective and tender. "You do not need to say anything," he said. "You have done more than you know, and now you are truly free and not alone." Leora felt a wave of emotion she could not name. Relief, joy, gratitude, and something deeper, something that had been growing quietly since the night he had first appeared in the village. She realized then that she trusted him completely, not just with her safety, but with her heart. The ruins were quiet now, bathed in the soft glow of the dawn's first light. Leora stood, her strength returning, and looked at Kale. I want to understand everything now," she said. "My magic, my power, and why you care so much." Kale's lips curved into a faint smile. "Then we will learn together. I will teach you everything you need to know. And as for why I care, because I see the truth in you, and it is worth protecting always." They stepped out of the ruins together, the morning light breaking through the trees, painting the forest in gold and silver. Leora's heart soared. She was no longer the cursed girl of Ravenmoor. She was a being of light, powerful and free, walking beside someone who valued her for who she truly was. As they walked, the world seemed to shift around them. The villagers of Ravenmoor, the hunters, and the shadows that had haunted her were distant memories now. What remained was the bond between her and Kale, forged in trust, danger, and shared triumph. Kale stopped at the edge of the forest, looking out over the valley. "The world may still fear your light," he said softly, "but you will not face it alone. Together we are stronger than anything that comes for us." Leora smiled, a genuine, radiant smile that lit up her pale features. "Then let's face it together," she said. For the first time in her life, she felt truly whole. Her past, filled with whispers of fear and curses, no longer defined her. She had embraced her power, faced the darkness, and found someone who believed in her completely. Kale extended his hand, and she took it without hesitation. The warmth of his presence mixed with her light, forming a bond that was unbreakable. They did not need words to understand the depth of what had formed between them. Trust, courage, and perhaps the beginnings of love now bound them together. As the sun rose, painting the forest in soft gold, Leora and Kale stood side by side, ready to face the world. The curse was broken, the hunters defeated, and the bond between them unshakable. The journey had been long and dangerous, but it had led her here, to freedom, strength, and a connection that could withstand any darkness. Leora's pale hair shimmered in the morning light, her eyes bright with newfound confidence. Kale looked at her, pride and admiration in his dark eyes. "This is only the beginning," he said, "but whatever comes, we face it together." And for the first time, Leora believed it. She was no longer cursed. She was pure, powerful, and free. And beside her, Kale, the alpha vampire who had seen her truth from the start, would always stand. The wind rustled through the trees, carrying the scent of earth, magic, and possibility. Leora breathed deeply, feeling the life around her, the power within her, and the bond that had formed through trials, trust, and shared courage. She had faced the darkness, and she had emerged stronger, unbroken, and ready for whatever lay ahead. The forest was quiet now, peaceful. The night had passed, the curse was gone, and Leora's story had only just begun. But one thing was certain, she would never face it alone. And in that moment, with the first rays of the sun lighting the valley, Kale whispered softly, almost to himself, "You are mine as I am yours." Leora looked at him, her heart full, and for the first time she did not fear the future. Together they would face anything, because light and darkness could exist side by side, and love, pure and unbreakable, had found its way into their hearts.